Take a breath. Feel that? Air is far heavier than you think, and right now, we're going to double it. Twice as thick, twice as heavy. The exact same air you're breathing, just doubled. At first, it feels like a superpower. You could almost fly. Then it starts cooking the planet alive. By the end, you'll see how the invisible thing you never think about is balanced on a knife's edge, and how easily it breaks. Stay till the end. Right now, there's an ocean of air sitting on top of you, about 100 kilometers of it, stacked all the way up to the edge of space. You can't see it, you can't feel its weight, but it's there, every second of your life. That column of air presses on every single inch of your body with the weight of a small car. Thousands of kilograms, pushing in from every direction at once. And you don't feel a thing because you were born inside it, and you've never known anything else. Here's what almost nobody appreciates. That air has a perfect density. Thick enough to breathe, to carry sound, to hold the sun's warmth, yet thin enough to move through, to see through, to live our whole lives in. It's a balance so precise we've simply never questioned it. So let's question it. We're going to double it, not change the recipe, same air, same oxygen, same nitrogen, just twice as many molecules packed into every breath and twice as much weight pressing down from above. Here's exactly what happens, step by step. The change is instant. One moment everything is normal. The next, the entire planet is wrapped in air twice as heavy. And the very first thing you'd notice is that the whole world suddenly feels different. The air is visibly thicker now, hazier, like a permanent soft fog hanging in the distance. The sky glows brighter and whiter as sunlight scatters through all those extra molecules. And every breath feels strangely, deeply full, like the air itself has more substance to it. And for about a day, honestly, it feels amazing. Better than amazing. But that feeling is a trap, because then, one by one, everything starts to go horribly wrong. Start with that full feeling in your chest. With the air twice as dense, you're now pulling in roughly twice the oxygen with every single breath you take. And at first, that feels incredible. You'd be energized, sharp, wide awake, almost euphoric. Cuts would heal faster. Athletes would shatter world records overnight. For a little while, every human on Earth would feel like a superhuman version of themselves. But here's the cruel twist. Too much oxygen is a poison. Over hours and days, all that extra oxygen would quietly attack your body from the inside, damaging your lungs, burning your eyes, scrambling your nervous system. The greatest gift you've ever been given would slowly turn toxic. And on top of that, the thick air physically fights you. Every breath now takes a real effort to pull in and push back out, like breathing through a straw that never gets any wider. Even sitting perfectly still, your body would be working harder than ever before. But believe it or not, the breathing is the least of your problems. Step outside, because out there, the sky itself has just torn up the rule book. Denser air means more lift, a lot more. And suddenly, the impossible dream of all of human history becomes almost trivial. Flying is easy. The skies would fill with life. Birds and insects that today fight gravity would swarm effortlessly through the thick air. Airplanes could lift off at half their current speed. And here's the wild part. With a decent pair of wings strapped to your arms, an ordinary human could launch into the air and glide. We would finally be able to fly. And falling would barely be dangerous anymore. Step off a tall building and the thick air would catch you, slowing your fall like a built-in parachute. Instead of plummeting, you'd drift gently down to the ground. Everything that moves through air would slow down. Rain would fall in dreamy slow motion. Dust and pollen would hang suspended for hours. The entire world would start to move like it's underwater. It sounds like a paradise, doesn't it? A world where we can fly and never fear a fall. But that exact same thick air is about to turn into a weapon pointed straight at us. First, sound. In denser air, sound travels further and hits much harder. The whole world would get louder. A single shout could carry for miles, and ordinary noises would become overwhelming. But the real danger is wind, because wind is nothing more than moving air. And if you double the amount of air, you double the force packed behind every single gust. A gentle breeze would now shove you like a strong wind. An ordinary windy day would knock you off your feet, and a real storm would become a wrecking ball. Hurricanes that today would just batter a coastline would now flatten entire cities to rubble. And yet, we still haven't even reached the two forces that would truly, permanently end the world as we know it. Fire and heat. Fire feeds on oxygen, so when you pack twice as much oxygen into the air, fire stops being a tool and becomes a monster. Every flame would burn hotter, faster, and far more violently. A tiny spark, the kind you'd casually stamp out today, would instantly erupt into a roaring inferno. A single dropped match could level a neighborhood. Forests wouldn't just catch fire, they'd practically explode into flame. Wildfires would race across whole continents, almost impossible to stop. The entire planet would become a dry tinderbox, waiting for one spark. And then there's the slowest, quietest killer of them all. Because a thicker atmosphere is quite simply a thicker blanket wrapped around the entire planet. It traps far more of the sun's heat and refuses to let it escape, so the temperature would climb, and just keep on climbing day after day with nowhere for all that heat to go. The oceans would slowly begin to steam. The air would grow heavier, hotter, more suffocating. And these would be the opening steps of a runaway greenhouse effect. The exact same furnace that turned our next door neighbor, Venus, into a 900-degree hellscape where lead melts on the ground. And given enough time, there's nothing stopping Earth from following that identical path. A once green, once living world, slowly cooked to death beneath the crushing weight of its own sky. And now here's the part that should genuinely stop you cold. Every single catastrophe we just walked through, the oxygen poisoning, the unstoppable fires, the city-flattening storms, the runaway heat, none of it came from something alien or exotic. We didn't add a strange new gas. We didn't change the chemistry. We just took the ordinary air that's already here and doubled it. Which means the air you're breathing right now isn't merely good enough. It's astonishingly, almost impossibly fine-tuned. Thick enough to keep you alive, but thin enough not to poison you, burn you, or cook you. It sits in a window so unbelievably narrow that simply doubling it would burn the entire world to the ground. And you never, ever think about it. You've taken hundreds of millions of breaths across your whole life, and not once have you noticed how perfectly, precisely balanced every single one of them had to be. That thin, fragile, invisible layer of air, the one we pollute without a thought, the one we ignore and forget every day, turns out to be one of the most precisely balanced things in the entire known universe. It isn't just a background. It isn't just scenery. It's a tightrope stretched across a bottomless drop. And every breath you take, every quiet moment you're alive, is proof that you're standing perfectly balanced on it. So the next time you take a breath without thinking about it at all, maybe pause, just for 1 second, and realize how impossibly, ridiculously lucky that single ordinary breath really is. This was beyond if. If chasing impossible questions to where they actually lead is your kind of thing, there are plenty more waiting for you. So subscribe, and let's keep going.